Today I'll show you my super easy recipe for sourdough sandwich bread. Yes, it's a proper version 2 of my original recipe. Hi, I'm Sune and I'm a food geek. Back in 2020 I released a video for sourdough sandwich bread. It's one of my most popular recipes on YouTube and my website. People just love how much more taste you get from this bread than what you can buy in a store or even what you can bake yourself at home with commercial yeast. It's soft and rich, slightly buttery, and it makes perfect toast as well as sandwiches. But I made this recipe before I performed some of my most essential experiments. So it was a relatively complicated affair to get together. On top of that, it used a mixer and everybody doesn't have one of those. So today I'll show you an updated recipe that makes the same bread, but so much simpler. If you're new to this channel, I bake a lot of sourdough bread and I make delicious food from all over the world. If you want to see more of this content, please join me by subscribing and ringing the bell so you won't miss any future videos. This bread is made with 100% bread flour for wonderfully tasty white bread. You can add up to 20% whole grain if you want. It'll be even more flavorful, but a little bit more robust. If you want to make 100% whole grain bread, I have a recipe for sandwich bread made with 100% whole grain spelt flour. If you're interested, I've left a link for that in the description. The dough is enriched with eggs, sugar, whole milk, and a smidgen of butter. Just enough to get the delicious smell, but not enough for the bread to turn into brioche bread. The inoculation is just shy of 17% and the amount of salt is 2.2%. The ingredients are precisely the same if you compare the old recipe to the new one. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider joining my Patreon. You can also buy some merch, use the super thanks, or use the links in the description for tools and ingredients. Those were the words. This is the recipe. There's a link in the description for the written recipe on my website. To a medium bowl, add 900 grams of all-purpose flour, 60 grams of cane sugar, 20 grams of salt. To cool it off, pour 100 grams of melted butter into 400 grams of water. Mix the flour mixture. Then add 150 grams of sourdough starter fed and grown to its peak. Now just quickly check the temperature of the water and butter mixture. It should be below 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. 200 grams of whole milk. And then the water and butter mixture. Mix until everything is well combined. Pour the dough into a bulking container. Level the dough. Mark where the dough will have grown 25% on the container. Put it somewhere warm. I put it in my proofer set to 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. About 3 hours later, my dough has risen, but don't go by time, go by growth. Divide the dough into 2 equally sized pieces. Shape each piece into a light ball. And let them rest on the counter for 20 minutes. Flour your counter lightly. Invert the dough ball onto the floured surface. Tease the dough into a rectangle. You're not supposed to fold up the bottom like silly old me, but just the sides. Roll the dough tightly, Seal the ends if you don't want to spiral at the end of your bread. Spray the tin with non-stick spray. And move the loaf to the tin. Shape the other bread the same way. Cover them and put them somewhere warm. They should grow 50 to 75%. I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. When the loaves are about ready, heat your oven to 220 degrees Celsius, 425 degrees Fahrenheit. If baking uncovered, you should make an egg wash by combining 1 egg yolk with 1 tablespoon of whole milk. Then grab the loaves from the proofer. Brush with egg wash. And then put them in the oven. Bake for 35 minutes. Then turn down the temperature to 190 degrees Celsius, 400 degrees Fahrenheit. If baking covered, you should remember to remove the lid to brown the top, not forget it as I did. Bake for 10 to 15 minutes more until the bread registers 99 degrees Celsius, 210 degrees Fahrenheit on a probe thermometer. Then take them out and put them on a wire rack. Remove them from the tins. And here I realized my mistake in not taking off the lid. So I reheated the oven to 260 degrees Celsius, 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I put the bread back in for 3 minutes. And voila, perfectly browned. Once the bread is cooled down, put it in a Ziploc bag and store it there. It'll give you the perfect soft crust. All right, as always, I will end my recipe with a montage of what you can expect from this recipe. So, how about that? It's both delicious and so much simpler to make. I hope you all will update your recipe books. Well, don't let me hold you up. I have a couple of sandwiches that are waiting for me. I hope you learned something today. See you next time.